Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Today we're going to take a look at the JLA 1 million. JLA 1 million is not Justice League of America 1 million, it's actually the Justice Legion A 1 million. It's basically a future version of the Justice League with some sort of Legion of superhero mixed into it. I have to admit, it's been a long time since I actually read the comic, and I don't even know if it's actually explained properly in the comic. But basically, it's a JLA Justice League version from the future that somehow comes back to at the time the present, and somehow that needs to stop some future threat. We're going to start with the Superman 1 million. I had a hard time recreating this character because basically I would need a skin that kind of looks like the Phoenix material, and also I would have to be able to put the Phoenix material in the emblem, and right now that's not really an option. So this is about as close as I was able to get. So basically, you put in the Phoenix material everywhere. Here I use the glowing skin and I colored it orange. And I'm using the emissive eyes. Also, although the emissive eyes seems to have the material on them somehow. Which is works well enough. So basically, only the skin and the emblem would probably need some work. But this is about as close to the Superman 1 million as I was able to get. There is also another version of Superman 1 million. I think it was his son or grandson or something like that, which we'll look at in a bit. So this is pretty much the first version of the Justice Legion A Superman that we actually meet. Basically, when they come back to the past, there's this group of future Justice League or Justice Legion A members, and so this is the first version of Superman we actually see. But later down in the storyline, we learn that the actual Superman is somehow in the middle of the sun, regenerating or healing or sleeping or something like that, and he does then come into the story much later on, and he kind of looks like the version you already saw with the Phoenix material. Here we pretty much need to just reproduce more or less Superman without the belt. Here I use the Chevron slimline for the chest to reproduce the sort of triangle red shape that the character has on his costume. For the emblem, he had these like 3 or 4 weird ovals, yellow ovals on the chest. I couldn't really reproduce that, so I kind of faked it using the number 8. And of course, I'm using the emissive eyes. I'm using the Superman cape, obviously, the one either sold by Steel or by Power Girl. Either way, it works fine. The boots, the tall classic boots, do fine. The pants, the New Genesis pants, again do fine. So again, this is pretty much as close to that Justice Legion A Superman or Superman 1 million as I was able to get with the styles we have. And here's the Justice Legion A Batman. It's not quite accurate, but it's as close as I was able to get. Ironically enough, I had to use the Vixen emblem because he had this like tiny bat head on his chest that kind of looks like what we're seeing right now. And he had these shoulders that kind of looked like some sort of stylized bat wings. Sadly, this is about as close as I was able to get in terms of the shoulders. And also the belt. It's not it's not quite the belt that the Batman Justice Legion A was using, but it's close enough. And of course, for the head and the hands, I went with the Batman Beyond style. The back piece is the Batwoman cape. That works well enough. The chest is the Stalwart Defender chest. In doubt, use the Stalwart Defender chest. It'll give you the biggest emblem you can have in this universe online. The boots, the tall classic boots works fine, and the pants, the reverse slimline usually do the trick. So this is about as close to the Justice Legion A as I was able to get, the Justice Legion A Batman or the Batman 1 million as I was able to get. I probably could have used some of the other bat head, but somehow when I was trying to match the color around the mouth to the call, didn't really work as well as I thought it would. Even using the glowing skin didn't kind of work. So I settled on using the Batman Beyond head instead. And here's more or less the Aquaman. It's not exactly it, but it's as close as I was able to get. For the hair, I had a hard time getting the proper blue. Basically, I would almost need a lighter blue and a more translucent blue for the hair. And somehow there's a slight shade in the hair, so I had a hard time trying to get the right amount of blue because of that. Basically, the 1 million Aquaman has some sort of barbarian type look, which was close to what Aquaman was using at the time. And ironically enough, it's what they're trying to go back to with the Aquaman movie. So I had to find also a style that had only one shoulders, and it was basically I tried to go with one shoulders, but the chest piece I had to use for that didn't really quite work. So I went with the Atlantean chest piece, which sadly has two shoulders. It kind of ruins the look a bit, but it's as close as I can get. The belt I went with the square buckle belt. The hand is the black hand, the Herald of the Black Hand. I forget. Let's take a look. Too many styles, and I guess not enough random access memory. So the chess piece, as I mentioned, I could have sworn it was the Atlantean. Oh, it's the Tidewalker chess piece, actually. For the boots, I went with the nuclear boots. The pants, I went with the Greco-Roman pants. And the glove is the Herald of the Black glove. It allowed me to have only one glove. Basically, the costume was quite a lot asymmetrical, and sadly, those kind of costumes are kind of hard to reproduce. And of course, the accessory is the Sifo Mora, obviously. So it was a bit challenging to try to reproduce that look, and I'm not sure how well it actually worked, but this is as close as I was able to get. Sadly, some of those costumes are pretty much asymmetrical, which is something that is usually very difficult to reproduce in this universe online, sadly. Uh, a lot of the styles in this universe online are symmetrical, and some of the few asymmetrical styles don't really work with everything. So again, this is about as close as I was able to get. For our friend Aquaman 1 million. Or the Aquaman from the Justice Legion A, you decide. And here is our friend Flash 1 million from the Justice Legion A, also known as John Fox. Sadly, this is about as close as I was able to get. Again, the costume was very much asymmetrical, which wasn't really possible to reproduce, so I tried to get as close as I could get. Of course, you shouldn't have an Indigo Lantern emblem in the forehead, but again, that mask was about as close to the John Fox mask as I was able to get. So the emblem sadly comes with the mask. Again, and for the chest piece and the pants, I went with the shock jock style. Again, it doesn't really look like what John Fox was using. It should be a lot more asymmetrical, and it was sort of half yellow, half red. But this is about as close as I was able to get with the current styles that we have. For the hand, the aeronaut hand did the trick well enough. And for the boots, the nuclear boots did the trick as well. It's not really it. I tried also to get to give him some shoulder pads because he had these weird triangle shapes all around the costume, and I couldn't find anything that even came close to what it's supposed to look like. So sadly, within the limitations that we have in this universe online, this is about as close as I was able to get to the Flash 1 million. That is a member of the Justice Legion A. And this is about as close to the Starman 1 million as I was able to get. Basically, I just used some, I think this is the reverse slimline, and actually, it's probably all the reverse slimline. For the chest and the pants, reverse slimline. The back piece, the classic cape, does the work fine enough. For the headpiece, I used the Green Knight headpiece and the Green Knight mask. Basically, the Green Lantern that we got from the time capsule. And for the boots, I went with the Cosmic Egyptian boots. Those boots you can get from the marketplace if you really want them. But any pair of boots could have done. You put the boots red. It's just that he did sort of have had some sort of cosmic look, if I remember correctly, in his boots. So those I went with the boots that I found that could sort of mimic that. And the emblem, I'm using the Commander Steel emblem. That's the enhanced version. Basically, he didn't really have that. He had like a big, bright emblem. So I tried to put the brightness as bright as I could on the emblem. But I thought also that using the Commander Steel with the star kind of worked with the theme of Starman. It's not exactly it, but it's close enough. And here's our friend Our Man 1 million, again from the Justice Legion A. Basically, he came back in time with. Actually, we had seen Our Man before JLA 1 million. He had been shown in the storyline previously, but then when the Justice Legion A decided to come back to the past to meet the Justice League, uh, our friend Our Man was there again, and also he's one of the I think he's the only character from the bunch who decided to stay after the storyline was over. Basically, they decided to launch a new Our Man series at the time, and they kept our friend Our Man 1 million for that series. Although they gave him a brand new look for that for his own miniseries, I would probably make a follow up. If you guys want to see that look, let me know and I'll try to make a follow up if enough of you guys are interested. So basically, I went with the hood. He shouldn't have a mask. The top of his face should be sort of in shadows. But sadly, the only hood I had that could put the face in shadow, put the whole face in shadow. So I could have used either the trickster hood or the Raven hood. So I just went with the regular hood, and I decided to use the Green Knight mask to sort of try to fake the fact that his half of his face is supposed to be in shadow. The cape is the Ra's Ghul cape, the proper Ra's Ghul cape. Obviously, the Arman emblem works well enough for him. Although for that, I had to use. Basically, he had this long flowing robe, so I probably should have used more of a robe chest piece that kind of matches with the pants. But sadly, the only ones I could find didn't have an emblem, and I wanted to have the Our Man emblem because he actually does have that emblem, or close enough to this. And also, I wanted a chest piece that left the hands uncovered. So again, a lot of the chest pieces would actually cover the hands as well. So this is the scuba chest piece, which sadly is only available during the summer seasonal. So if you don't have it already, you're gonna have to wait to use another piece. I guess the Stalwart Defender piece, chest piece could work, or maybe also the new Genesis. Is it new Genesis or Fourth World? I forget. One of the two should actually do the trick. It's not exactly the look of the character, but within the limitations we have in this universe online, this is about as close as I was able to get. So again, I tried to give him a some sort of big robe look. For the boots, I think I just used the nuclear boots, and that sort of kind of fakes the Our Man 1 million from the Justice Legion A. So this was pretty much the Justice Legion A from the JLA 1 million storyline. It's a fairly good storyline. If you guys didn't read it just yet, I would strongly suggest you get your hands on the JLA 1 million trade paperback. It was during the era where Grant Morrison was writing Justice League, and he had these big these big ideas for Justice League, which were fairly well executed. The art is a little bit inconsistent because basically there was the main artist on Justice League, Howard Porter, who obviously did the Justice League part, but there was an actual JLA 1 million miniseries that had a different artist, and also there was a whole bunch of tie-in crossovers that obviously each had their own artist. So the artwork will be all over the place in the trade paperback. Although overall, most of the artwork is actually quite good in that storyline, so that shouldn't really be an issue. I couldn't. I probably forgot one or two members, and there's some that like I should have done Wonder Woman 1 million. So this being this universe online, as time goes by, we will get new styles, or my characters will gather styles that they don't already have. So eventually, I should have more styles than I have right now. So I should be able at some point to make a follow-up video and maybe make a closer version of the Justice Legion A than I just did. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.